What up, everybody? Each episode of BMF starts out with the disclaimer. The story you're about to see is loosely based on truth. Some of the names, characters, businesses, and events have been fictionalized for dramatic purposes, but a lot of this may have actually happened. So with that said, one of the biggest mysteries in watching the BMF series is trying to figure out who is the real life person that these characters portray. Obviously, the Flannery family portrays themselves, and it was also revealed last season that Markeisha is portraying Terry's longtime girlfriend, Tanisha Welsh. So today I'm going to get into breaking down the new characters we've been introduced to in episode 1, as well as the new characters who we'll see in season 3, and looking into the possible true identities of some of these characters. Starting out with Robert Greene. Meech was put in contact with Robert Greene at the end of season 2 after Goldie killed Big Mike. Greenie is a big-time player in the Atlanta area, and his sole purpose is getting paid. Meech is going into business with Greene, as Greene will be responsible for laundering BMF's money. The agreement that Meech and Greene made was 15% up front and 10% on everything after that. I believe that the real-life Rodney Greene is none other than Doc Marshall, the man who the real-life BMF allegedly used to launder their money. Marshall went to prison for possession of more than 5 kilos, money laundering, and bank and wire fraud. Doc Marshall and BMF started a company called Exquisite Empire that they used to purchase luxury cars. Doc Marshall ended up killing a man during a home invasion in self-defense. But when the cops arrived, they found cocaine, and Doc Marshall became a federal informant against BMF. Getting me to Veronica Jen's new partner, Detective Kobe Amberson. Amberson is significantly younger than Jen and Bryant. This is why Jen called her a baby when she found out that she was her new partner. But there is definitely more than what meets the eye with Detective Amberson, as her father is a city councilman. Most likely, this is how Detective Amberson got her job, even though she claims that she no longer speaks to her parents. Now, I'm not sure who Detective Amberson is, but I do believe that her father, Councilman Amberson, was not mentioned for no reason. And I believe that Councilman Amberson is based on Detroit Councilman Gilbert Hill. This is the same councilman that White Boy Rick tried snitching on about covering up a murder and police corruption. It's also been reported by former hitman Nate Boone Craft that Hill allegedly had once offered to pay him $125,000 to kill Richard Wersch Jr., White Boy Rick, to keep Wersch from revealing alleged corruption in the Detroit Police Department. Getting me to Hoop. Even though Hoop has been around since season 1, it was never revealed who he actually was, simply because there wasn't enough information on his character. Even in season 2, Detective Jen and Bryant were digging for info on him and only found a sealed juvie record. But in season 2, Hoop was put in charge of running the car delivery service, basically stashing the cars up with product and making sure it gets to the right location. Hoop even brought his auntie and uncle in on it on season 2 to be drivers. But in season 3, episode 1, it was pretty much confirmed that Hoop is none other than BMF Sosa, Dexter Hussey, as Meech called Hoop to make a delivery on his half of the 500 keys down to Atlanta. And before Hoop left, Terry made sure to grill him about how to make the delivery professionally, to wear a suit, and not to smoke any weed in the car while on the way down there. Sosa was BMF's main driver and also someone who was down with them all the way back from their 50 Boy days. Either though there are conflicting reports if Sosa was actually ever an official member of the 50 Boys or not. But what we do know is that he was around way back then and is actually the older brother to one of Meech's baby mothers. Sosa says he got his start in the game when one day Meech had left product at his sister's house to attend a concert, after he had already told Meech not to bring no product around his sister or their house. Sosa claims he took that product and sold it at a rec center within a few minutes. When Meech got back, he went looking for his product and asked Sosa what happened to it, when Sosa handed him a wad of money instead, and the two were down ever since. Getting me to the other characters who are new to BMF Season 2, and I'm going to start off with Rip the Rapper, because I've heard a few people already claim that he's supposed to be portraying Jeezy. But I don't think Rip the Rapper is Jeezy, simply because the current BMF timeline is only around 1990 or 1991. And I don't think that Meech and Jeezy got connected until the late 1990s or early 2000s. And I'm pretty sure Meech has to go to Cali to live for a season before moving back to Atlanta and meeting Jeezy. Rip is a part of a Detroit crew that is based in Atlanta. The leader of this crew is a guy named Duffy, who has connections to Sterling Black back in Detroit. Duffy is also a music producer and might be part of how Meech gets involved into the music industry. The other two members of Duffy's crew was a guy named Diesel, who said he was Detroit born and bred, and Stax, who really isn't a member of that crew because he's from Atlanta, but he rolls with them, and he has his own crew under him. The Detroit guys are more like associates. Stax met the Detroit crew because he is the uncle to Ty Washington's wife. So we know for sure that Stax has an axe to grind with Remy Ransom moving forward, as we saw a fight break out in the club episode 1 as soon as Stax laid his eyes on Remy. The thing is, Remy does more than fight. He's already threatened to send Meech back to Detroit in a body bag. Get me to the new characters who haven't been introduced yet, starting off with a member of Stax's crew named Payne. Payne is said to be an eager-to-learn soldier. In episode 1, we also found out that there was a war already going on in Atlanta over territory between Remy Ransom's Techwood crew and a new crew to the area called the Miami Killers, led by a man named Glock that we haven't been introduced to yet. At the end of episode 1, Meech was trying to get into a club to meet with Glock, but was met outside by bouncers and 2 members of the Miami Killers crew who told Meech that he wasn't welcome and that Glock wasn't trying to talk with him. But Meech picked up on something by the way the 2 Miami Killers were acting that Glock might be putting on a front. So it'll be interesting to see the dynamics of this character Glock, as well as how this 3-crew war plays out moving forward. I was also told that the Miami Killers were based on a real-life crew called the Miami Boys. Getting me to the mystery character who it looks like will be introduced in episode 2. We don't even know as much as this character's name yet, but in the season 3 trailer, she promises to wipe BMF off the map. There's going to also be several new characters moving forward from the Red Dog Task Force, which means run every drug dealer out of Georgia. This is based on the real-life Red Dog Task Force, and Meech said he isn't on their radar yet, but he will be eventually. It also looks like Meech will begin to plant the BMF flag in St. Louis, Missouri in Season 3 because of one of his love interests will be Kia, a former college athlete who is now on the streets of St. Louis. And on top of that, there will be even more characters added to this season who I don't have any information on yet. Like what role will former Jamie Foxx show star Christopher Duncan be playing? Because the fact that the show now has to cover multiple cities, as BMF expands across the map, we can even expect to be introduced to even more new characters throughout the season, possibly preparing for the spin-offs coming moving forward. And there you have it. Leave your thoughts, theories, and predictions in the comments.